Okay, what is it again?
Think
So I gave you guys homework, right?
Yeah.
And the homework is?
Think exercise 9A question 1.
Think exercise 9A question 1 to 10. That's the homework, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, you all can take out your objective book. So the objective is we're gonna do think exercise 9A question 1 to 10. Very careful of my plant. It's in critical condition. It's very like soft and it's like going this way. I don't know why. Yeah. Very careful. Okay, so that's our objective for today. Where did I left off? Can I see the textbook, please?
Oh yeah, let's go through one question.
Textbook, please. Thank you. Oh, so exercise 9A, we need to go through one last question, right? Which is work example. Where did I left off last lesson? Can I borrow somebody's notes?
Like trigo question.
Oh, copied the question already. Okay, you guys copied the question already. We went through that. We're gonna continue learning. So that's number 1. Number 2, we're gonna continue learning for that question. Okay. Oh, today we learned trigo. Did I give you all the trigo sketching notes?
No, you said you do sketching.
Can I give you all trigo sketching notes? Oh dear. Okay. We'll write another homework. Print trigo sketching notes. Okay. And then after that, we're gonna write down next lesson. We're gonna learn trigo sketching. In case I forget. So too many things to remember. Okay, what else? Let's see. Trigo sketching we'll do next lesson, and trigo application. We're going to learn next lesson. I'll skip that for the moment. Then I'm going to jump to chapter 10 already. This is actually in chapter 9 of the Think textbook. Anybody has 360? I don't think you all bring, right?
I don't bring.
Oh, you bring? Nice. Okay, let me take a look at it first. And meanwhile, let me pause the video. Okay, so Arun is going to take now, right? Make it flat. So number 2, I'm going to print out principal value. Maybe you can ask Clara help you to hold or something. Principal value from 360 book. Page what again?
261.
261. Okay, I want you all to print out principal values. I'll go more in that next lesson. So next lesson, we're also going to learn principal values. So today we're going to complete that last question that we left off. Last question from last lesson that we left off. And then after that, number 3, we're going to do we're going to finish up exercise 9A, question 11 to 19 today. Think exercise 9A, question 11 to 19. If we cannot finish, means the rest will be your homework. So number 3 will be think exercise 9A, question 11 to 19. Just in case if we cannot finish for today. Okay, so this one, write down bracket, PDF file in group chat. And I'm going to send the trigo sketching notes. Okay, so you can copy all this down. Okay, so right now, let's go back to basic. Do you still remember what I teach you before? Whenever you see cos 40 is equal to A. So A means what? What can I write A as? We just went through last week. What can I write A as? No. 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 So repeat again. What must it be? Yes, correct. Then from here, what do we identify? So this is the right format. So this is a little bit different from what we learned previously, because previously they give you a very nice format, but right now they just tell you A. And you need to know that A is actually A over 1. All right, so next one, after this, what can we say already? From here, what can we say? What can we say already? Go and look at your notes again. What is the next step? Cannot draw triangle yet because we don't know. Yes, identify the quadrant. So what quadrant can this be? So, guys, we know that it can either be the first or the fourth, right? So which one do you think? Do you think it's the first or the fourth? Why first and not fourth?
Because it's 40 degrees.
Yes, because it's 40 degrees. So 40 degrees means I know that confirm is first, it's not fourth anymore. So this whole thing, I know that is definitely in the first quadrant. Understand? Because of the 40 degrees. 40 degrees, remember I told you the range is in the first quadrant. Got it now? So after that, I identify the quadrant and I know the format already. What can I do? What's the next one? Draw the bow tie. So which bow tie is it? Which looks like a what?
So it's this one.
Okay. Whereby this is the 90 degrees, right? And where's the basic angle?
Basic angle.
Okay, and what is the basic angle? What do I write in here? The basic angle is how much? Do we know?
40 degrees.
Yes, 40 degrees. And what else can I fill in this triangle? Hypotenuse is 1. So where's the hypotenuse?
The long side. The
Longest one.
one opposite the right angle.
Okay, so 1, what else?
And then you can also put A.
Where's A?
Adjacent to 40 degrees.
So from here, what else can I find too?
You can find the other side. Opposite.
Okay, how to find the opposite? What would that give me?
1 square minus A square. Square root. The whole thing.
So what is it? Start with? Square root.
1 square minus B.
1 square is actually 1 minus A square. So remember I told you guys what's a good habit I want to do immediately? I can identify who. What's a good habit I want to do?
Identify the other angle.
Okay, which is, what do I write?
180.
What's a good habit? All right, there's no 180. What's the good habit that I want to have? What do I do the moment I have a triangle? What do I do from here? So what do I write now?
You put sine.
Yeah,
40
sine 40. Yes.
is equals O over H.
O over H, which is?
So 1 minus A square over 1.
Yeah. After that,
And we put
and cert 1 minus A square over 1 is just same as cert 1 minus A square. Yeah. What else? What's the next good habit?
cos
Cos 40. Yeah.
equals to A.
And what else?
And then the last one is tangent 40. Tangent 40 equals to A, no, sort 1 minus A square over A.
Okay, guys, there are two ways to go about doing it. Okay, I'm going to teach you two ways. One is using same thing, your triangle. Another way is using formula. How do I know it's using formula? Now, can you see the basic angle is 40? But if you look at the question, what is the angle? Guys, later then write, must listen, very important, because this one, if you missed it, that's it already. So right now, if you look at the angle is actually 50 degrees. However, if you look at all those that identify, is actually, so there's actually a 50, which is here. Can you see that? But if I identify that this is 50, my opposite and adjacent are being swapped. Hypotenuse is still the same, meaning to say that here will be my adjacent already, and here is my opposite. Clear so far? Meaning to say, with this same triangle, I can right now still find sine 50. I can also find cos 50. I can also find tangent 50. So what is sine 50?
Sine 50 is A.
Because sine 50 is O over H, right? Which is A over 1, which is A. So far, so good. What about cos 50?
Sort 1 minus A square.
Cos 50 is
Sort 1 minus A square.
A over H, and H is 1, so that's why it's still the same. And tangent 50?
Tangent 50 is A over sort minus 1 minus A square.
Okay, so far so good. So this is one way, method 1 you can use. Now what is method 2? So method 2 is this thing called the complementary angle. What do I mean by complementary angle? Do you all remember in set 1, set 2, what is complementary angle? In set 1, set 2, you're learning what is complementary angle. Yes, they both add up to, no, 180, is 90 degrees. Supplementary is 180. Understand? So complementary is 90 degrees. And how do I know? Because you look at all my basic angle. What are all my basic angle? They are all 40. And here is 50. 50. So 50 and 40 gives me 90. Clear so far? Now, this one you have to memorize, meaning to say that it is not in the formula sheet. So everybody take out the formula sheet right now that I gave you guys. You remember the formula sheet I gave you guys? Everybody take it out now and show it to me. Do you find any complementary angle in the formula sheet? Show me where's all your formula sheet. Where is it in the notes? So right now, I want you all to take a highlighter and highlight this. This is what you need to memorize. Complementary angle. So please make sure that your notes is not being cut off. If your notes is being cut off, please add on. So you can see sine 90 minus theta is the same as cos theta. Cos 90 minus theta is the same as sine theta. And tangent 90 minus theta is 1 over tangent theta. Okay? So let's go back. So what are the formulas you need to memorize again for complementary angle? So Clara starts. What's the first one? Sine what? Oh, no. What? Bracket. Okay, bracket 90.
Minus
Theta, yeah. Equal to cos theta. Okay, choose the next person to answer.
Haley.
All right, Haley.
Cos bracket
cos bracket,
90 minus theta.
uh-huh.
Bracket equals to sin theta.
Okay, choose the last person.
Shina.
Sheena.
Tangent bracket 90 minus theta.
Uh-huh.
That equals to 120 theta.
Okay. So right now, guys, later than copy, later than copy, later than copy. I'm going to give you ample time to copy. Now, can you see A? A, they want sine 50, right? So we can use the formula. So this is method 2. Just now was method 1, correct? Right? So I'll teach you 2 methods, up to you guys. Both methods will give you the same answer. So sine 50, you realize that it's actually here, correct? So sine 50 is the same as sine what? 90 minus 50. So you're telling me that 90 minus 50 is the same as 50.
90 minus 4.
Yes, 90 minus 40. Because 90 minus 40 will give me 50. And 90 minus 40, how do we apply this formula already? What do you notice? 90 minus 40 is actually, okay, this one we don't use this one, not this one. What? Yes, it's the same as cos 40. And do we have cos 40? A. So can you see this and this is the same, which makes sense. Make sense now? How everything come into place? So now you know why the formula is stated as it is. Now you can copy everything that you see on the screen. All right, so enough of your sour story. Come, let's continue. So now what is B? B, you need to be very careful. Do you all still remember? When it comes to B, you need to be very careful.
Negative angles.
Yes, negative angle. Excellent. So do you remember the formula?
Sine tangent negative 50 equals to negative tangent 50. Negative tangent 50 degrees. Yeah. Okay.
Like that,
I
correct?
guess my brain.
Now, do we have tangent 50? Yes or no?
Or we have?
Imagine if you don't do this way, you don't have.
Right.
Correct or not? You won't have, right? If you don't do method 1 way, you won't have. You only have all this information here, correct? So what do we have to do? Remember just now the complementary formula? So what do we do? It's equal to minus what? How do we apply the formula, the complementary formula that you guys have already copied?
1 over tangent 40.
Is 1 over tangent
40.
40. And do we have tangent 40?
Yeah.
Which is minus 1 over this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is equal to? Equal to 1 divided by this whole thing, it will give you?
Minus a over square root 1 minus b.
Yes. And do you realize that these two are the same? Just that it's the reverse. It's not the same, but it's the reverse. Just now, these two are the same, right? Guys, can you see these two are the same? And these two are the same. However, for tangent, it's not just the same, but it's the reverse of it. Which makes sense, right? Can you see in question B? Guys, understand?
Yeah.
Okay, now for C, we also did something similar before. But what do you notice about C? It's like,
It's in radians.
it's in radian, yeah. So I will want to change it, right? So 11 over 9 pi. So remember, how do we convert? What is the formula we need to memorize?
Pi equals 180.
Pi what?
1 pi radian.
1 pi radian, yes. It's equal to 180 degrees. And now we have 11 over 9 pi
Radian.
radian. Must remember pi radian.
You do your secret 7.
Yeah. Do secret 7. And what do you have?
Hey.
I'm sorry. 180 divided by pi.
Do you want the 3SF, 5SF?
What do you have SF1?
How
Miss
about
wrong already.
SF1?
Huh?
220.
Yes, 220.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you forget to put pi? You need a times pi again, you know. You need to divide by pi and then times pi again.
So right now it's in degrees, something that we are familiar with. So that will give me sine 220 degrees. However, do you realize that this is like 3 digits compared to whatever we're having is only 4 digits in terms of 40 and 50? So do you all still remember when sine 220, what is the methodology we need to do?
270. No.
Basic angle.
What are the steps?
What? You identify basic angle.
That is second step. But what's the first step?
You identify what quadrant?
Yes, you identify what quadrant. So what quadrant is this in?
Third.
Third quadrant, right? And third quadrant means what? If we know that it's in a third quadrant.
The range is 180 to 270.
Yeah, that's why third quadrant. But what does that mean?
That means that tangent is positive.
Tangent? Why
Sine-
tangent?
Sine
Sine
is
is
negative.
Yes, third quadrant, because I know that third quadrant means sine is a negative value. So how are we going to write down? So sine 220 is actually the same as sine 220 is actually the same as
Sine.
does anybody remember?
Sine 270 minus 220.
Guys, what are the steps? Let's look at your notes.
Sharp.
What is the next step? After we identify the quadrant, which is the third quadrant, what is the next step?
180 plus basic angle.
Yes, 180 plus basic angle is equal to 220. Hey guys, must remember this. A lot of your seniors, set 3, set 4 always forget this. Very important, no? This is a very popular exam question.
Is basic angle the same as reference angle?
Yes. Then after that, from here, what do we do?
We find the basic angle.
So what's basic angle?
So you bring
So it's
No,
40 sine 40.
Exactly. So from now, I can write down that sine 220 is the same as
Sine 40.
wrong really.
negative sine 40.
Why negative sine 40 and it's not just sine 40? Why have negative? Why is there a negative?
Third quadrant sine is there.
Yes, because it's third quadrant, and third quadrant sign is negative. Now, do we have the value of sine 40?
Yeah.
Yes, which is here, right? Correct?
So it's negative.
Negative square root 1 minus a squared. The end.
Wait, I got question 6 all correct.
Okay, so question number 6, this is exercise 9A of think exercise. So you say that question number 6 you got all correct. Come, let's see whether is it a fluke or what, or you really actually got it.
Huh? Question 6? Question 6 is pi over 6.
Yeah, so I put a pi and then I calculated the value.
No, it's in radian, everything must be in terms of pi.
Exact form.
First quadrant.
All right, so let's see the student who said that she got all correct, right? Anybody else got 6 correct?
I was just got it wrong.
All right, so Arun will go first for A, and then after that Clara will go next for B, and then after the rest you're going to do on your own.
Yes.
All right, so Arun, let's go first. What's the first thought process?
The first thought process, since it's the first quadrant,
Uh-huh.
they give the range of the
Mm-hmm.
But then since the first quadrant, you don't have to do
What?
which is pi over 6. Because first quadrant.
What is this alpha thingy
The alpha
says?
thing is a base angle.
Yes, basic angle. Remember I told you guys, basic angle is represented by either basic angle as itself or alpha. Some school uses alpha, but I don't like to use that because it's very confusing. But anyway, even if you don't know, it's here. Done. So because it's first quadrant, I know that it is just
Pi
Pi
over
over
6.
6.
exactly. So the B is just pi over 6 because it's the first quadrant formula. First quadrant is just basic angle. Next up, B, Clara's turn.
Okay, so for B, we know that it's in the second quadrant. So we know that the second quadrant is 90 to 180, right? So what happened is that because we know that the basic angle is pi over 5, just use 180.
Cannot use 180, yeah?
5. But
Why cannot use 180? Why?
Use in radian.
Because it's in radian, so we don't use 180. We use
pi.
pi, yes, pi.
So pi minus pi over 5, then you get your answer. And yeah, that's
The end.
Why is 180 pi?
Because
You need to
1
memorize.
radian 360
Yes.
is 2 pi, so cut in half it's 180%.
Mhm.
basically,
It's a
1
formula.
pi radian equals to 180. It's a conversion thing. But then I died doing conversion.
Okay, then after that, 6 done, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so yours settled. Just look at the notes. Yours settled. We answered already. Next,
7F.
7F.
Hey, Mama. First, second, first, third. I thought we did this in the note.
7 done already, is it?
7F.
Yeah, 7 is also in the notes.
Because when you times, it's either a
Sign, you need to identify what kind of,
like
what quadrant can it be? Because you want at the end of the day, more than 0, which is positive, and tangent also,
First.
right? So if positive means it's exactly in the notes. Just look at the notes. Next, what other questions? What question do you have?
I have one.
So this one also in the notes, huh? What question?
1F.
1F.
Yeah.
1F also in the notes. You just need to know what is the basic angle. This one sub in the value here, sub in the value here, sub in the value here. Just like this one is minus, and here is times.
Okay.
Question 1, you just need to sum in everything.
Yeah, and then after that, just do your cert carefully. All right, next question.
you said my questions are unacceptable.
Okay, just need to revise your notes, cover up and redo. Next.
1G.
1G, also the same thing. Just that cos square, you need to be very careful. Cos square, this, right, is actually the same as cos pi over 6 multiplied by cos pi over 6. That's what it meant. And tangent square pi is just minus tangent pi over 4, tangent pi over 4. And then look at your notes also to sub in. Over sine square, this person is just sine pi over 3 multiplied by sine pi over 3. So far, so good?
Yeah.
All right, next person. What questions do you have?
I have 2H, but I think can do again.
2H, you want to do again? All right, next person. What other questions?
That's already.
No more. No more also. Any more?
I still have 2G and 2G.
2G and 2H.
It's just
Not in any of them.
But
2G and 2H. Which quadrant does it lie in? What's the problem with this?
on a quadrant is not
it's like
in a
not in
quadrant.
any
No,
quadrant.
correct. So that's why it's not in any
Oh,
of
because
the
it's on the
quadrants.
line.
Because it's on the line.
Okay.
This quadrant is so annoying.
Because it's the word
In
in.
stay in my life. Stay in your lane.
Yes, but this is on.
On
On.
the line.
Yes, very good. How do you know?
Because 90, 180, 270.
It's a safe option to just
Yes.
put that it's not inside anything.
Okay, so it's not in any quadrant, because it's not in, it's on.
Yeah.
All right, this one is a tricky one. Okay, next one. Answered already, yes? 9, 10. Okay, next.
No, no, no.
Next. Next.
8D.
Yeah.
You know 8D I'm really close. I don't understand why it's on
I
minus.
don't know why you say that.
Why did you explain that?
8D. How come I cannot go? 8D?
Yeah.
What's the issue with this?
I found out that it's in quad 1, right? But in quadrant 1, sign is positive. But the answer is negative. But isn't this a negative angle formula?
Yes.
The one that we just did.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Katie, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, any more? Next.
I know.
You do our corrections
Next.
ourselves.
That's it. You?
Corrections ourselves.
Also, that's it?
No.
All right, go. Finish up question number 1 to 9, and then after that, we can start with the homework questions. 1 to 10, yes. Let's start the homework questions. Any question that you need help, just ask me, especially for the homework.